background, but I think I really want to hear, like, you have cut your teeth as like a marketer, especially a forward leaning digital marketer. And so I want to hear 2022, what's the plan? You've got very precious kind of marketing dollars. How are you spending those? Like, where are you investing? Where are you not investing? Give me the plan for 2022, because I know that this is planning time right now.
Yeah, so we do have our budget set for 2022. We have high ambitions in terms of top line growth. Um, we have some really great tailwinds around, skinification of body care, and there is just so much potential within body care. And as consumers' knowledge around ingredient profiles and formulations really deepen, there's an opportunity and a white space there with body care. So we are allocating our dollars where we believe that it's going to be the greatest impact on brand awareness, because that's what marketing dollars are supposed to do. We do have a good chunk into tools like Try, which I believe we're paying way too much. Some of
Hey,
our
hey, hey.
budget. But a good chunk, like I would say like 50% plus, is going to be spent on really harnessing our community. So our community of content creators, a community of influencers across platforms. So I think it's a really exciting time because of the unknown. Also the ambiguity of iOS 14 and 15 that's coming out, and how that plays into our entire funnel. So we're going hard after upper funnel. We're going hard after all of the platforms, and especially leaning into TikTok.
It's interesting that it's funny you mentioned that comment offhand, which is like, using our marketing dollars to build awareness, which is what it's for. And
Mhm.
actually, I would argue that like the prevailing wisdom right now is like very much focused on like bottom of funnel, right? Like, how do
Yeah.
I, how do I get last click attribution? How do I know exact ROI on this? Which is not, doesn't sound like the way that you spend your money.
Oh my gosh, as e-commerce people, we are addicted to data. As a
Yeah,
native
yeah.
D2C brand, we are addicted to data. And I have to go back to, especially in this time of ambiguity, like I have to go back to the basics, like marketing 101. A consumer has to be aware of your product and then be tipped into the basket. Right now, if we focus on that bottom of the funnel and that conversion, it doesn't make any sense for us because we're relying on the platforms to
Yeah.
base the platforms are built to find the person who is most likely to tip into the basket.
Yeah.
That is not controlling your messaging. That is not really going back to the basics around positioning and hierarchy of communications and all of that within marketing 101, I would say. So I think that there's a real benefit to flipping that and thinking about it from upper funnel.
Yep.
And there's so much innovation in upper funnel right now, whether it be attribution for CTV or even editorial and PR or prospecting for direct mail, that there is a great opportunity there in upper funnel.
Yep.
And then letting the e-commerce team do what they're supposed to do, which is taking that pool of potential consumers and then tipping them into the basket. So I'm a big believer in brand awareness
Yep.
and really creating a very strong distinction of what marketing is supposed to do versus e-commerce.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. Um, and especially for a brand like Kopari, right? Which is not like, I think it's the people that like it are very passionate about it, but there's a lot of
Yeah.
people that just don't know who they are yet or who you guys are
Mhm.
yet. And so it's an important activity. Does that mix shift for a brand like Benefit that you were at? Like, do you still think of it the same way if you're a big brand that most people know about versus kind of an up and comer?
Connor, I started at Benefit when we were around like 250 million in sales.
Yep.
And I was at Benefit for around 8 years or so, and I worked for Sean Andre, who's amazing. And I remember in my interview with him, he's like, yeah, we're going to be $1 billion brand. We're going to sit along Mac and Estee Lauder. And like, we're talking about the big boys table. And I'm like, okay, cool. You're supposed to say that because you're the CEO. I get it. But we're like really small. So everything, like we used to never do brand tracking studies. And then it started after I started. And we would measure how much brand awareness there was around Benefit. And back then, and I'm talking like 10 plus years ago, back then, people who knew about Benefit loved Benefit because it made them laugh. They loved the products, they loved the problem solution, the packaging and the names and all of that. but not a lot of people knew about benefit. And that was one
Yeah.
of the challenges. So I find myself to be in the same position that I was when I started at Benefit. And one of the things that I'm really excited about is the richness of the DNA. One of the things I learned from Sean Andre, which I think this is one of your other questions, but one of the things I learned from Sean Andre over the years was the importance of DNA, a
Yep.
brand's DNA, especially if you're asking a consumer to pay a prestige price point, right?
Mhm.
You're not asking them to buy a $4 eyeliner or whatever it is. Like you're asking them to pay up for an emotional connection with a prestige brand. And so DNA is one of the things that we at Kopari try really hard to articulate, to cement, and to thread in every single thing that we do.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's fun. It's weird to think about doing 250 million in sales and you're like awareness is still our issue, right? Like that's kind of it's a crazy concept. It just gives you an idea of how big the market is, right? That
Oh,
you can have that
absolutely.
many people buying your products and yet still the majority of people don't know you or haven't tried you at least.